Chapter 6. The bright sunlight streaming in the window told Gwen that she had slept much later than she planned. She checked her phone. 7:30 a.m. Okay, maybe not too much later than normal. It had been such an amazing light show last night. She had stayed until the clouds rolled in and the soft rain started to fall. The northern lights had been amazing, but her time with Milo had been almost as good, she decided. The oft-repeated refrain entered her head: you don't need a man to protect you or take care of you. You can do that yourself. But with Milo, she was starting to realize that it wasn't that she needed him to protect her. It was just that she really, really liked it when he did. Feeling his strong, steadying arm last night as she was almost swept off her feet by the dazzling, dancing lights in the sky had been so reassuring. She felt so connected to him. She found herself wondering what it would be like to kiss him. Gwen wondered if his lips were soft, and just how rough that stubble on his face would be when it brushed against her cheek. Every time she thought of being close to him, she felt that heat that was apparently all too common when she was around Milo. She was actually regretting that she hadn't packed her vibrator for the weekend. But really, why would she have thought she would need it? Oh, for goodness' sake, stop it, Gwen. You just met the man and you're swooning over him. Get it together. Her mind had all sorts of useful advice that she was pretty sure her heart was not going to be able to follow. Oh well, you never knew what might happen, that's what made life fun. Gwen got out of bed and proceeded to wash up and get dressed. She finished her minimal makeup and stowed her makeup back in her weekender. She folded up her pajamas and took a quick glance around the room to make sure she hadn't forgotten anything. Nope, she had everything she came with, and maybe a few more romantic fantasies than she bargained for. She was just zipping up her back and checking her work email and she heard a soft knock on the door. Gwen opened the door before she could even consider who might be on the other side. Being in the teeny town of Palmer Ridge for only 2 days had suddenly taken all her big city caution away. Riku Saito stood on the other side of the door, holding a cranberry pecan muffin on a small plate. Sarah sent this up with me. They were going fast, and she's really sure you're going to love it. She wanted to make sure you got one before they were all gone. His smile was genuine. Making sure his guests received his wife's baked with love goodies definitely made him happy. Oh, Riku. Thank you so much, that was so thoughtful of both of you. Gwen was truly floored by the generosity of this little town. Also, I wanted to make sure you knew you had a visitor waiting for you downstairs. Didn't want you to walk downstairs and get a big surprise. A sly grin slowly spread over his face. Wow, this really is a small town. There's seriously no other good gossip around here. Gwen's eyebrows shot up as she only half teased him. It was amusing how everyone knew everyone else's business. Milo is a very special man. He has a heart of gold, and we all love him. When someone comes along who he's genuinely comfortable spending time with, we all take notice. We want what's best for him. He seems so genuine, so caring. She conveniently left out smoking hot and sexy. I'm glad to be someone he's comfortable with. Well, if he's comfortable with you, then that probably means there's something pretty special about you, too. Just my innocent observation. Riku had a way of speaking volumes without saying very many words. Well, thank you for the muffin, and thanks for the heads up on my visitor. I appreciate both gestures tremendously. Anytime. Hopefully we get to see you again soon. You'll be the first place I call to book my next stay in Palmer Ridge. I would be really honored if we weren't the only place to stay in Palmer Ridge. Can I carry your bag down for you? The sly grin was back. Rika reached out and took her weekender, leaving her standing in the doorway with her phone and her muffin. Just another Sunday morning in Palmer Ridge. Milo slowly pulled up to the trailhead parking lot. After finding a spot that didn't have puddles the passenger side door, he got out, walked around the hood, and opened Gwen's door for her. She took in a deep breath as she got out of his truck. Love that smell. Petrichor. I'm sorry, what? The smell of earth after rain. It's called petrichor. Milo was looking at the ground as if it was the most interesting thing in the world. Wow, I never knew it had a name. So, let me guess, do you also have some sort of meteorology background to complement the astrophysics specialty? She was only half kidding. Milo looked up at her, a grin spreading across his face. He clearly loved it when she teased him. No, I learned it in an episode of Doctor Who, actually. Oh my gosh, you watch Doctor Who too? Yep, she was perfect. Sexy, smart, and a fan of the Doctor. Every box checked. I don't watch it much anymore, but I've watched all the classic and new episodes. I'll spare you, because I think that asking your favorite Doctor is probably too personal a question, considering we've only known each other for 2 days. Well, Dr. Gray, when exactly do you think it won't be too personal a question? I need to know how long I have to prepare that answer. Her voice sounded almost breathless, but he was about to drop her off and drive away. If they were going to continue to explore this, she clearly knew that she had to do something to make that happen. He looked her in the face, his dark brown eyes searching her, watching her expression, her body language. I'm not sure you want to do that, Gwen. Why not, exactly? Her eyes held his, she was not backing down on this one. For a moment there was a flash of sadness in his eyes, and then it was gone. I'm really not good at this. I'm not great at sustaining relationships. Let's just say my track record has not been fantastic. I don't want either of us to get hurt. But how can you keep from getting hurt in life? Seriously, if you've never gotten hurt, you've probably never lived at all. Sometimes you have to throw caution to the wind, unless you're not attracted to me like I am to you. I thought you might be, but if I'm reading that wrong, please tell me now. She held her breath while she waited for him to answer. Gwen didn't have to wait long. What? No. I mean, yes, I am very attracted to you. I don't think I could be any more attracted to you if I tried. He'd spent more time this weekend trying to control himself than he had his entire senior year of high school. Seriously, even cold showers weren't helping anymore. He felt himself give a little salute now. Milo walked over and put her car between them so she wouldn't see his erection straining in his jeans. Yeah, definitely going to need another cold shower this afternoon. Then if we're both attracted to each other, why not just see where it goes? I told you, I've not had good experiences, and I don't want you to get hurt. But you can't guarantee that. No one can. I'm not saying we should run off and get married today. I'm just saying I'd like to get to know you better, and I hope you feel the same about me. Milo was silent. He had made the only objection he had. He wasn't one to share his thoughts and fears, his hopes and insecurities with anyone. But he found himself wondering what's the worst that could happen if he let go of them, just for a little while. You told me about your favorite Sagan quote. Now, let me tell you one of mine. It's from Gilda Radner, after she fought a long battle with cancer, ultimately losing to it. Life is about not knowing, having to change, taking the moment and making the best of it, without knowing what's going to happen next. Delicious ambiguity. Seriously, we don't even know if we're going to like each other. Let's just see where it goes. Really, what's the worst that could happen? Milo could think of lots of worsts, but at the moment he was distracted by her petal pink lips. She had slicked on a light coat of pink gloss. Okay, what's the worst that could happen? He walked around her car to where she was standing, still leaning slightly against his truck. He pulled her into his arms, his hands on her shoulders until they were only an inch apart. He put his forefinger under her chin and tilted her head back. Gwen gasped when she felt his lips on hers. Milo hoped it was the best possible way a person could be shocked. She matched his intensity as he pulled her in closer. His mouth crushed hers, and she opened for him, grazing his teeth with hers, meeting him as his tongue firmly swept around hers. Gwen was breathless, for the first time in a long time. Her knees wavered as his hand cruised down her side, landing on her hip. Gently, reverently, he caressed her. His mouth left hers, and they both let out a tiny groan of disappointment. He only wanted to breathe her air. He stared down into her eyes, looking for something that she wasn't quite sure of. Well, if that's being bad at something, I'd hate to see your definition of good. That just might kill me. He didn't move as she spoke softly to him. Whatever delicate balance this was, he didn't want to upset it. We're just going to see where it goes. Well, after a first kiss like that, I'm likely to agree to anything. I'm putty in your hands, Dr. Gray. She'd like to be putty in his very skilled hands. And this is okay. Yes. Oh, I guess I answered that too quickly, huh? What I meant to say is, I love how I'm never quite sure what I'm going to get from you, Milo. Delicious ambiguity. Delicious indeed. Milo. So, is it too soon to text you? Gwen. Well, considering I left 5 minutes ago, I think your timing is perfect. Milo. Drive safely on the way home. I want you in one beautiful piece for our next lunch date. Gwen. Oh, I think we've graduated to dinner already. I'll text you when I get home. Gwen. Good morning, Dr. Gray. Happy Thanksgiving. Have you recovered from our visit last week yet? Milo. If by recovered, you mean gotten rid of the blisters I got from visiting every museum that exists in Denver, then yes, I've recovered. What does your day look like? Gwen. It's a staff day, I'll be at the hospital all day. What about you? Milo. Midge does a Thanksgiving meal for everyone in town who doesn't have anywhere else to go. I'm the official stuffing maker this year. And probably the rest of the sides too, I'll have to see when I get there. Gwen. It's funny that the diner is the only real restaurant in town. You're an amazing cook, you should do something about that. Milo. And cut into Midge's clientele. I would fear for my life. Gwen. There's probably room for a diner and a fine dining restaurant in Palmer Ridge. I doubt Midge will take you out at the kneecaps for trying. Milo. Clearly, you've never played Monopoly with her. Milo. I'm thinking of heading down to the city to do some Christmas shopping this week. What do you have going on? Gwen. We only have 10 days left until Christmas. Milo. Yeah, I'm early this year. Gwen. I still don't know you well enough to know if you're being sarcastic or serious. I'm off most of the day on Wednesday. I have a super early surgery and not much after that, should be done by about 11 a.m. Milo. Probably a little of both. Okay, I'll plan on being at your apartment at noon. We can have lunch. I'll need it after the shopping battle. Gwen. Okay, Grumpy. I'll see you then. Gwen. I'm so excited to get home tomorrow. I missed you. Milo. You were only gone for 4 days. Did you have fun with your sister? Gwen. Don't bowl me over with romance, Milo. Milo. I told you I wasn't good at this. Gwen. I'm going to respectfully disagree. I miss the taste of your lips. Milo. So, what are you doing New Year's Eve? Milo. Kidding, I know we've got plans, I'm just singing the tune of the song in my head. Gwen. That's a song. I've never heard it. I'm really looking forward to you meeting all my colleagues. Milo. Yeah, we're not even going to talk about your taste in music. Milo. Well, that was fun. Gwen. I'm sorry. I get called into work on my off time, it's the hazards of being a surgeon. I really wish we had gotten to kiss at midnight. Milo. I'm being serious. I had fun. I accept the fact that you will sometimes need to run off to save the day. I should have gotten you a cape for Christmas. Gwen. That's one of the things that makes doctors terrible partners. I'm glad you understand that. Milo. Well, it's not like it's personal. I think. Hang on, did you fake a call just to get away from me on New Year's Eve? Shit, now I'm worried. Gwen. Ha. I would have given anything to dance with you all night long. Milo. Phew. Okay, just had to check. Gwen. Have you gotten unburied from the snow yet? Milo. We're buried up here from November to about May. So no, not unburied yet. Gwen. Well, hopefully we won't get buried for Valentine's Day weekend. I'm so excited to see you, but getting stuck in the mountains is a no-go for me. Milo. And why not? I promise lots of fun indoor activity. Gwen. Oh, I'm going to rock your world, Dr. Gray. At least we would have a reason to not leave your house all weekend. Milo. You know people are going to talk. It's your first visit where you're not staying in off the trail. Gwen. I don't know, I think Sarah is going to want all the juicy details. Milo. In all seriousness, we can go at whatever pace you want. I don't want you to feel like I'm trying to talk you into anything. Gwen. Every night I dream of having you on top of me, I dream of what it'll feel like when we're together. I appreciate the thought, but I'm readier than I was in high school. I'm ready. Gwen. Are you? Milo. I don't think ready is the right word. Horny comes closer. Gwen. Then I will look forward to seeing you this weekend.